I know I kind of keep changing the rules on what kind of spoilers I'm doing and when, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw out here at the beginning, if you have not seen episode 7 of Jessica Jones, do not watch this episode, this review episode yet. Wait until after you've seen it, because I'm basically going to spoil the entire thing. So, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Kilgrave is in love with Jessica Jones? Woo! Called it. Called it. I have been describing this as a abusive relationship metaphor since I first heard about this, since I first saw that trailer that showed a smidge too much. But, it was still a good trailer. This is a great show, and that is a great metaphorical motivation and tie-in for this villain. Which is good, because one of, if not the biggest problems that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has at this moment in time is that it's got no good villains. 1, maybe 2, perhaps 3 if we really get lenient here. But Kilgrave makes up for a lot of that, especially if, excuse me, I'm sorry. This is only episode 7 of 13, so he could still die, but I hope he doesn't die, because then he could come back in the movies, and that would be amazing. The more David Tennant we have around, the better, and the more we have of this just terrifying, mind-controlling villain, also the better. Although, what is it with Marvel and mind control, now that I really think about it? You got that shit in Avengers, you got that shit in Avengers 2, and now we got it here in Jessica Jones, but whatever. It's really good here in Jessica Jones, and it's one of the cooler aspects because it's so terrifying in this villain. And the fact that this guy, on top of, forcing people to do things against their will, he's attempting to destroy Jessica's life to the point where she has nowhere to go but to him, or at least that's what it feels like. I could be wrong. We'll see as these episodes advance, but that is such a fun motivation for a villain, because it makes us kind of sympathize with him in a way, because, he's in love and he's got a crush, which is why he's been kind of running from Jessica and avoiding her so much over the first couple of episodes here, because, he's a little nervous or something. They don't say that, but that's the implication that I'm extrapolating from this episode, and the fact that he's in love with Jessica. I think he had a little crush, so he's just trying to avoid her as he's going through the motions of his plan to destroy her life to get her to come to him. And that's why he bought her house at the end of the last episode, because he wants to rebuild her old home down to excruciating details, it seems, because the episode ends with Jessica walking inside the house and just looking around just in equal parts terror and awe, and then it cuts to black, and oh my god, do I want to watch episode 8, but I gotta finish talking about this here. So many things have come to head here in episode 7, which makes sense. It's the midpoint of the series. It's the low point. It's the Empire Strikes Back, to overuse that dead horse metaphor, which is also a metaphor, but anyway. And here in this episode, someone close to Jessica, or, one of her neighbors, one of those wacky neighbors, gets killed in a horrific way in Jessica's apartment, and so it forces Jessica to make some extreme decisions about her future and how she's going to handle this, and come up with this just crazy plan to try and take out Kilgrave, and all of her friends come together in their own ways to try and stop her from doing it. So there's a lot of emotional depth to this episode, because we get to see the payoff of many different plot lines at once, as everyone is kind of expressing in their own way what Jessica means to them, and Jessica in return kind of showing what they mean to her. So there's a lot of payoffs here. There's a lot of just so much good writing. I know I keep saying that, but the writing for the show is so good. And this is only episode 7, so it could horribly nosedive and have a terrible ending from this point on, but at this moment in time, in episode 7, the midpoint of Jessica Jones, this is one of, if not the best shows I have ever seen in my life. We're talking right up there with, like, Breaking Bad and things like that. This is the Citizen Kane of superhero TV shows, to overuse another metaphor. And I will stand behind that. I will argue that, because this show is dark. It is twisted. It is horrifying and memorable and well acted, with incredible characters, with twists that just keep getting me. They just keep slapping you for a new one, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can try and figure out where it's going to go, but it'll keep slipping you up. And then there's also the fact that it's got so many awesome metaphors. Like, the themes are so cool and relevant in this day and age. Like, there's the fact that this show fixes so many problems of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, they'll need to stick the landing that this show is setting up. And, going forward, Black Panther has to be awesome. Ms. Marvel has to be amazing. And if they do something with Wasp, which they seem like they're going to do from Ant-Man, it's got to be awesome, because they've gone from nothing, and they're getting up to here now on this scale that you can't really measure, but you get the point I'm trying to make. It's like they're getting diverse. They're giving female characters a lot to do, and they're addressing gay, straight, lesbian relationships, and the complexities of a child being born of rape, and all these different things that are being discussed at the height of the politicalness in this country, the United States. And this is a superhero show that is doing that. And I'm done. I've made my point. Episode 7 is amazing. The show is amazing. Episode 8, here I come.